Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide news at this hour, $500 million water improvement system has been turned on in Port Royal.
Over 2,000 residents, not to mention the persons who visit here on a weekend and cruise ship visitors. They will all have the convenience of potable water.
No confirmation yet whether the two people found dead in the wheel well of a JetBlue aircraft are Jamaicans.
The Ministry of Health says there are no HMPV or bird flu cases in Jamaica.
We have not had any case of avian influenza A, which is H5N1, nor have we had any case of human metapneumovirus HMPV.
Opposition leader Mark Golding says the Prime Minister is using the courts to undermine the country's anti-corruption framework.
Murder and sexual offences account for the highest number of cases before the Home Circuit Court for the Hillary term.
In news from the rest of the world, Venezuela opposition leader's son-in-law kidnapped.
The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a bill to deport unauthorized immigrants charged with minor crimes.
In headline sports, cricket legend Sir Clive Lloyd calls on ICC to show more respect to West Indies cricket amid plans to split Test cricket into two divisions.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, at least one economist is confident that the economy will recover quickly after its 3.5% contraction for the third quarter of last year. We'll hear from senior lecturer in the Department of Economics at the UEMONA, Dr. Christine Clark, financial analyst John Jackson, and economist and opposition spokesperson on commerce, technology and innovation, Dr. Andre Houghton.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, does Dr. Horace Chang deserve any credit for the reduction in murders in 2024? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, principal of the Mona campus of the UWI, Professor Denzel Williams, has raised an alarm about the skills of the country's workforce, with nearly half of the prime labor force not having any qualifications. We'll hear more from Professor Williams and the president of the Jamaica Employers Federation, Wayne Chen.
From 7 to 8, it's Nature's Remedies with Dr. Denise Daly. Tonight we'll be looking at herbs and routine building for weight loss.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, January 7, 2025.
News at 5 is brought to you by KFC's Festive Feast. Crunch the holidays with a KFC Family 12 bucket and try KFC's new dessert biscuits. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Residents of Port Royal in East Kingston will now benefit from an improved water supply system following the commission of a new pipeline in the constituency today. The more than $500 million upgrade will see the replacement of fragile pipelines with modern high-density pipes. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the upgrade forms part of the government's plan to create Port Royal as an entertainment destination to further boost the country's economy. Shalois Michael reports.
Speaking at the commissioning ceremony on Tuesday, Prime Minister Holness says the upgrade will improve the access to potable water for residents and visitors.
We have laid approximately 8.6 kilometers of modern, high-density polyethylene pipes. The people of Port Royal were literally suffering from aged infrastructure. And this aged infrastructure simply could not carry the volume of water. It couldn't take the pressure of the water, and they would break frequently. What we have done is to change the kind kind of pipe, which are very robust and they are designed to last much longer. And over 2,000 residents of this area, not to mention the persons who visit here on a weekend and the possible cruise ship visitors, they will all have the convenience of potable water.
The installation was done at a cost of 533 million Jamaican dollars. According to Prime Minister Holness, the upgrade is one of several being done to improve the sunken city.
One of the critical investments to be made was to put in place the facility for docking cruise ships. We have made that investment. The second investment was to put in place some facilities to receive the cruise ship visitors when they come. And we have put in place the new pier and customs facilities. We have built a new museum and restaurant. And we have started to do some improvements of the sidewalk and various other things within the town. We have made this massive investment again in the water. We have one more major investment, and that is in the sewage. And then another major investment to come, which is to give you a beautiful road from the roundabout straight into the town.
Prime Minister Holness says the investments form part of the government's plan to make Port Royal an economic hub.
It is an entertainment and festival destination. But to be able to have that to the extent where it adds significantly to our GDP, we have to make these significant investments. So you're going to see now more hotels come, you're going to see the restaurants improve, and we are going to make the investment, not to displace the people who are here, who have built an industry, a name and a brand, but to support them further in improving and expanding their product, so that when we talk about Port Royal as a destination now, this is going to be the place where people will choose to come and have their festivals and concerts, where cruise ships will come to explore the rich history that is here. So Port Royal is going to become a new economic hub for Kingston.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it cannot at this time confirm whether the two people found dead on a JetBlue aircraft are Jamaicans. The bodies were discovered in the wheel well of the aircraft during a routine post-flight inspection. The jet had landed in the southern state of Florida on arrival from John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York City. In a post on X, Foreign Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says there's no immediate basis on which to conclude that they are Jamaicans. She says while there's speculation regarding the nationalities of the two persons found, her ministry's information to date is that the matter remains unclear. Minister Johnson-Smith says her ministry remains in contact with the relevant authorities and will update the public as soon as greater clarity and accuracy have been brought to bear on the tragic incident.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness has announced that no case of human metapneumovirus (HMPV) has been detected in the country as of now. The ministry sought to reassure the public in a statement today. This follows detection of the virus in other countries, including an uptick in cases in the United States. Mahiri Stewart tells us more.
The Ministry of Health says the risk of an HMPV outbreak in the Caribbean remains low, but may increase in the coming weeks. That's based on information from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARFA. However, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Besacer-Mackenzie says no cases have been detected so far.
Jamaica is currently experiencing the rise in respiratory illnesses normally seen at this time of the year. Influenza A, H1N1, the pandemic strain, is the predominant strain in circulation in Jamaica. We had 256 cases in 2024. This is followed by influenza A, H3N2. We had 62 cases in 2024 and a few cases of influenza B, 5 cases in 2024. We have not had any case of avian influenza A, which is H5N1, nor have we had any case of human metapneumovirus, HMPV.
HMPV is a virus which primarily affects the upper and lower respiratory systems. While it can impact individuals of all ages, certain groups, such as young children under 5, the elderly, and those with weakened immune systems, are particularly vulnerable to more severe outcomes. Symptoms of HMPV infection are similar to those of other respiratory illnesses, including cough, fever, nasal congestion, and shortness of breath, which could progress into conditions like bronchitis or pneumonia. While the chief medical officer says no cases have been detected, she urged Jamaicans to be vigilant, particularly the most vulnerable.
Persons with chronic illnesses must ensure that they are taking their medications. Generally, we should ensure that we're drinking plenty of fluids and taking our vitamins, lots of fruits and vegetables, and that we're eating healthy and exercise. These things will make us more able to fight off these illnesses.
Dr. Besacer Mackenzie also gave a general advisory on various respiratory illnesses currently impacting the island.
We had high respiratory syncytial virus activity in October to November. However, this has decreased in December, where we only had 7 cases. COVID-19 cases remain at low levels at an average of 4 cases per week for the last 3 months of 2024. We are now in the influenza season, when an increase in influenza cases is expected. However, the figures are in keeping with what is expected at this time of the year. Similar to the pattern noted in 2023, in December of 2024, the number of cases of admitted lower respiratory tract infections increased, and in week 51 of 2024 was above the epidemic threshold. The ministry continues to monitor the situation in the hospitals and asks persons visiting health facilities to wear masks to prevent the spread of respiratory infection.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
The management of the Bustamante Hospital for Children says it has launched an internal investigation into allegations of negligence in the care provided to a 4-year-old patient at the facility. In a release on Tuesday, Bustamante Hospital says it was made aware of videos circulating on social media which allege medical negligence at the institution. The hospital says, in response to the allegations, an internal probe was launched quickly into circumstances surrounding the case. Bustamante says it has already made contact with the family involved, offering guidance on the matter. It notes that the family has been encouraged to submit a formal written complaint to facilitate a meeting with the relevant hospital teams. Bustamante says it's committed to ensuring the highest standards of care and patient safety while taking all concerns seriously. The hospital says it will continue to work closely with the family and relevant authorities to resolve the matter in a transparent and timely manner. Bustamante Hospital says it will ensure that any findings from the investigation are addressed appropriately.
Opposition leader Mark Golding has accused Prime Minister Andrew Holness of seeking to use the courts to undermine the country's anti-corruption framework. Mr. Golding launched the broadside against Dr. Holness while addressing PMP supporters in East Rural St. Andrew on the weekend. Khaleesi Wright has more in this report.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has obtained leave to seek judicial review of a controversial Integrity Commission report into his financial affairs. Despite finding no wrongdoing on the part of the Prime Minister, the Integrity Commission has sought the intervention of the Financial Investigative Division (FID) to further probe Holness's finances. The Prime Minister says the entire process has been irregular and amounts to a breach of his rights, prompting him to seek remedy from the courts. But according to Golding, Holness's efforts could have more sinister effects on the Integrity Commission.
The commissioners were put in place under his government, and he is trying to strike down the law itself that establishes the Integrity Commission. In other words, he is trying to use the courts of Jamaica to undermine the anti-corruption framework of Jamaica, including the offense of illicit enrichment, for which he is being investigated. As my brethren Damon Crawford would say, what can go so?
Golding used his visit to East Rural St. Andrew to shore up the prospects of Patrick Peter King, who is seeking to unseat the House Speaker Juliet Holness in the general election expected later this year. Holness is the wife of the Prime Minister. She's represented East Rural St. Andrew since February 2016. Mr. Golding claims the Jamaican people are tired of what he describes as a government that has not proven itself worthy of public trust. He slammed Holness's efforts to overturn the Integrity Commission's report.
After 9 years of Labour Party rule, the people of Jamaica are fed up. They are disgusted with the government. They are disgusted with leadership which can't prove itself to be worthy of our trust and confidence. We have a Prime Minister whose own personal finances And the declarations he has filed cannot be certified by the country's Integrity Commission. It's a shame and disgrace on Jamaica to have a leader in government in that situation. He's even taking the Integrity Commission to court to strike down the very law that was passed under his government, even though it's we designed it and we brought it to Parliament originally. But it was passed by him and his government.
The PMP last held East Rural St. Andrew from 2011 to 2016 when Damian Crawford served as Member of Parliament. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 15 minutes after 5.
Rent-to-Kill Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rent-to-Kill Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rent-to-Kill is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay.
Continuing the news. Murder and sexual offences account for the highest number of cases before the Home Circuit Court for the Hillary term. The Hillary term commenced on Tuesday and will run through to April. A total of 1,032 cases are listed for the term. Robian Williams was at the ceremonial opening.
Of the 1,032 matters set to be heard in the Hillary term of the Supreme Court, 980 were carried over from the previous Michaelmas term. Acting Director of Public Prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, says 41 new cases have been added to the court's docket. Among the cases, murder and sexual offences represent the largest categories. 391 are related to murder, while sexual offences account for 363. Of that figure, 164 are rape cases, 156 concern sexual intercourse with a person under 16 years, and 15 are buggery-related. Ms. Thompson highlighted the need to prioritize older cases. She also says that the mold infestation at the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, has disrupted operations. The issue, discovered late last year, forced staff to evacuate their newly renovated building, leaving many physical files inaccessible. Despite this, Ms. Thompson assured the court that proactive digitization efforts have ensured continued access to critical case files. Meanwhile, King's Counsel Peter Champagny, representing the private bar, is expressing concern over the prevalence of sexual offences, emphasizing the need for greater public awareness to encourage the reporting of these crimes. He's also calling for a review of the Firearms Act to provide incentives for accused persons to plead guilty. KC Champagny notes that the current framework offers no distinction in sanctions between a guilty plea and a trial verdict. KC Champagny has also welcomed plans to introduce digital recording of court proceedings starting in April, which he believes will enhance efficiency. For her part, Supreme Court Judge Justice Carolyn Ty Powell urged prosecutors and defense attorneys to recommit to maximizing productivity throughout the term. Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute. The son-in-law of Venezuelan opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez has been kidnapped. This is according to Mr. Gonzalez. In a post on X, he wrote that his son-in-law was kidnapped by masked men on Tuesday morning and is still missing. The main opposition party is steadfast that Gonzalez won the June presidential elections by a majority over the president Nicolas Maduro. Political party Primero Justicia, an opposition party of which Gonzalez is not a member, condemned the kidnapping. Primero Justicia has attributed the kidnapping to officials of President Nicolas Maduro's regime, but it provided no evidence to substantiate the claim.
In the United States, the House of Representatives has passed a bill to deport undocumented immigrants from the country who are charged with minor nonviolent crimes. The bill, which drew the support of 48 Democrats as well as all Republicans, appears to be on a path to enactment, having garnered bipartisan backing in the Senate. It's named after Laken Riley, a 22-year-old nursing student who was killed last year in Georgia by a migrant who had crossed into the U.S. illegally but was not detained. The bill would require federal authorities to detain undocumented immigrants charged with burglary, theft, larceny, or shoplifting. Under current law, non-U.S. citizens who have been convicted of at least 2 petty offenses are subject to potential deportation. The legislation would also give state attorneys general the right to sue the United States Attorney General or the Homeland Security Secretary if an immigrant who enters America illegally and is released goes on to commit crimes that harms residents.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. No confirmation yet whether the 2 people found dead in the wheel well of a JetBlue aircraft are Jamaicans.
Ministry of Health says there's no HMPV case in Jamaica.
$500 million water improvement system turned on in Port Royal.
Opposition leader Mark Golding says the Prime Minister is using the courts to undermine the country's anti-corruption framework.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by KFC's Festive Feast. Crunch the holidays with a KFC Family 12 bucket and try KFC's new dessert biscuits. KFC, it's finger licking good.
The Jamaica Defence Force invites members of the public to its Sail and Fly Past at Victoria Pier, downtown Kingston, on Monday, January 13, 2025 at 9 a.m. Come and witness the JDF's assets in a brilliant display of military precision in the air and on the seas. Members of the public are being advised that ceremonial explosives will be utilized during the ceremony, but these will not pose any danger to lives or property. See you there.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica's national under-17 football team were today beaten in the Tornado del Sol tournament in Mexico. The young Reggae Boys, who opened their campaign with a 3-2 win over Selección Bajeo, suffered a 2-0 defeat against Selection North under 19 today. The Jamaicans will hope to return to winning ways when they take on La Liga Premier League team tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. Jamaica time. Newcastle United took a major step towards a spot in the Carabao Cup final after beating Arsenal 2-0 in the first leg of their semi-final tie at the Emirates today. Red Hot striker Alexander Isak gave the Magpies the lead on 38 minutes before Anthony Gordon bagged the second on minute 51.
Floated forward by Dubravka. Plenty tried again on the end of it. Isak does! And Isak scores! Newcastle United's main man is at it again. The first goal of this semi-final is a Newcastle one, and a Newcastle one in North London. Arsenal 0, Newcastle 1. Murphy finds Isak. Isak finds the shot, and Anthony Gordon follows in. That's big. That is big in the context of this tie, and that is huge for Newcastle United. 6 minutes into this second half, Newcastle have a second, and they are in control.
The second leg will be played at St. James's Park in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the first leg of semi-final 2 between league leaders Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur will be played in London tomorrow. Legendary former West Indies cricket captain Sir Clive Lloyd responded strongly to media reports out of Australia that talks are underway to split test playing teams into 2 divisions. A report in the Sydney Morning Herald yesterday has suggested that Australia, England, India and the International Cricket Council's new chairman Jay Shah are in talks to split test cricket into 2 divisions so the big 3 nations can play each other more often. The report so noted that the concept of 2 tiers in test cricket was previously floated at the ICC level in 2016 with a model where 7 nations would compete in the top division and 5 in the second rank. It added that any plan for a move to 2 divisions in Test cricket would kick in after the end of the current Futures Tour program in 2027. However, Lloyd does not see West Indies, currently ranked 8th out of the 12 Test playing teams, recovering if they were confined to a Tier 2. In a regional international Zoom media meeting called yesterday, Lloyd said the West Indies are already in a very vulnerable situation, adding that the 2-tier system would make them even worse. Lloyd, who led the Caribbean team in 125 test matches in which they became the unofficial world champions and in 87 one-day internationals, including back-to-back World Cup titles, said the Windies deserve special attention. Lloyd says the West Indies needs a special dispensation because for years they were the cash cows for a lot of countries and that must count for something. He said the West Indies has been in the ICC for nearly 100 years and perhaps has been the most successful test team over the years. And Sir Clive also added that the West Indies aside, a Tier 2 system would be bad for all small test nations. He questioned the great financial imbalance in how the world governing body distributes its funds. He says he's yet to understand how of the 12 test playing nations, 3 are getting $180 million and the others getting a combined $80 million. Jamaican Andre Coley will be leading the West Indies in his last tour as coach of the West Indies team on their current sojourn in Pakistan. The series, which marks the final installment of the 2-year World Test Championship cycle, will see the West Indies playing a test series in Pakistan for the first time in 18 years. The first test is set for the Multan Cricket Stadium starting on January 17. The second will start 8 days later at the same venue. Coley says the focus is on building on what they've done well and transforming the learnings from 2024 into tangible results.
A new series, a new opportunity. We haven't played a test series or a test match in Pakistan for a few years. So we're all looking forward to it, to the challenges that it will pose. Yes, it's slightly a little cooler than what we would have been accustomed to in the Caribbean, but we are also prepared for that. And having arrived in Pakistan, we continued a bit of recovery. And then we start training after a couple of days that would lead into the 3-day match that we have as part of our prep ahead of the test series.
Yeah, and the recovery is today. The team arrived in Islamabad late yesterday evening, and they'll go into intensive training tomorrow and Thursday before the start of that 3-day warm-up game against the Pakistan Shaheen on Friday leading into the first test. You can hear more from Coley in our major sportscast at 6:05 this evening. Finally, in sports at this time, though, national defender Jodian Ward says the Sunshine Girls will be aiming for a sweep when they face South Africa in a 3-match netball series at the National Indoor Sports Centre, January 18, 22 and 25. The teams will compete for the Margaret Beckford Trophy. This series follows on the Sunshine Girls' outstanding performance at home in the recently concluded Horizon Series against England, with the Jamaicans emerging 2-1 winners over the 4-game series. Ward says the team has the tools to win all 3 games against the South Africans.
Jamaica can expect some great netball. We have been training really hard and we've been preparing for South Africa similarly to the way we prepared for England. This is really going to be a series to show if we can actually put out a full performance. We did drop the ball for the first couple of games against England, so we are just looking to solidify everything to actually come away with a clean sweep.
And of course, Shamira Sterling will lead the team in the absence of the regular captain, Janelle Fowler-Nemhard. And Ward says the team is behind her.
These Crocker girls really can get the job done. We're swapping out the goal shooter, Babe Romelda, with Shimona for this series, and I think Shimona can actually execute just similarly to Romelda. We're very lucky to have such great targets in our shooting circle. And similarly in the defensive end as well, there are some great talent there as well, with Shamira, Sterling Humphrey, Latanya Wilson, myself, Kimon Shaw, and Teresa Beckford. We really have some great talent in both ends and in the midcourt as well. We have a lot of young, youthful players in the midcourt and experience. So with all that combined, I think that we can really execute.
Jody and Ward, national netball player. And that will do it for sports. We'll be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you. The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking them.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican. Different people.
It's not a matter of a JLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Looking to rent a fully operational production studio? Then Nationwide 90 FM has got you covered. We have flexible options to meet your recording needs any day of the week. Monday to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays available upon request. Bookings must be made in advance. Call us today at 630-1210. Let us help you reach your production desires.
Cover Story is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, Cliff. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm doing well.
Good. All right, in our cover story this afternoon, at least one economist is confident that the Jamaican economy will recover quickly following its recent contraction. Keenan Faulkner was reacting to news that the economy declined by 3.5% for the July to September quarter of 2024. He says while slightly higher than expected, the contraction is not a surprise.
However, Mr. Faulkner believes the country will bounce back relatively quickly from the recent shocks. He says this is a testament to the earned resilience in the Jamaican economy.
I think so, and I think the country will do so relatively quickly
because projections currently now indicate that the recovery period is expected to last less than a year. And that is a testament to the resilience of the Jamaican economy that has been, embedded because of the additional stability that we have experienced over the last decade, where crises would have taken somewhere between 8 and 15 years to get back to recovering lost output from a shock. So I think we can be cautiously optimistic going forward that we'll be able to be on a growth path in a relatively short space of time.
Keenan Faulkner, he's urging the government to focus on capital projects in its upcoming budget for March. Mr. Faulkner says this will help stimulate economic activity in tandem with the recent monetary decisions made by the Bank of Jamaica.
Joining us now to discuss further, we're being joined by Senior Lecturer in the Department of Economics, the Deputy Dean in the Faculty of Social Sciences at the UWI Mona, Dr. Christine Clark, economist and opposition spokesperson on commerce, technology and innovation, Dr. Andre Houghton, and we're due to be joined by financial analyst and founder of ICinsider.com, John Jackson. Dr. Clark, Dr. Houghton, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Houghton.
Good afternoon. Dr. Clark, afternoon to you. Good afternoon and Happy New Year to everyone.
All right, same to you. Good afternoon. Dr. Clark, let me start with you. Do you share the optimism expressed by Keenan Faulkner as it relates to the recovery for the Jamaican economy?
Well, I think, as he said, there are reasons to be cautiously optimistic. I mean, yes, we know that there are some programs that are underway in terms of on the maintenance of some of our capital infrastructure, the roads in particular, which have been identified, I think, in almost every discussion on productivity as a major bugbear as far as the congestion and the impact on the wear and tear of vehicles. But as per usual, there are also, potential headwinds that could stimulate this outturn. For example, we're still, given the weather and what we're seeing in North America, there's a potential for, some amount of uptick in the number of viruses that we interface with, given that we have, open borders as we expect in a small open economy, and we're highly dependent on tourism and our diaspora move in and out. So there's still some forms of headwinds that I think we'll face going into the last quarter of this fiscal year, and then thinking about what will we put on the table for the upcoming fiscal year.
And there are concerns, Dr. Clark, that you talk about what we'll place on the table for the upcoming fiscal year. There are concerns that in an election year, the government may want to, let's say, be a bit more creative in budgeting to bolster its chances at the polls. Do you see that kind of room existing in the current fiscal environment?
Well, we know that there are safeguards in place, right? We do have the fiscal discipline that has been initiated. We have the fiscal rules and the other institutional safeguards. And I think an administration now is going to be hard-pressed to
run with it.
In essence, kind of put on a show. It really has to be, given if you are in office now, really what are these accomplishments? I don't think having gotten 2 terms, you can just kind of build a facade and that will be enough. So we have to see evidence that in the critical areas, education, health, security, we see your media house would have covered recently the gains or the reductions on the flip side in terms of the violent crimes. Mm-hmm. We have to see substantive, tangible things. And then we keep hearing, and we're seeing more fulsomely, the demands for impact in areas of the ordinary bread and butter issues of the Jamaican household, the Jamaican family, and certainly at the individual level, on the ground, how they experience life here in Jamaica. So it's not going to be easy to kind of, just build a facade and, breeze through. I don't think in the next go-around, we saw the local government election results. So
you don't expect
will,
the sort of reckless spending?
it wouldn't, I don't think it would be in the administration's best interest. No.
Dr. Horton, let me hear you on the first question we put to Dr. Clark. What is your sense of the prospects for recovery after the contraction in the third quarter?
Yeah, hi everyone. Remember, a significant portion of the contraction occurred because of negative external shock, Hurricane Beryl, and as a small island developing state, as Dr. Clark quite rightly explained, is that we are susceptible to these external shocks in whichever way they may come. If you can remember, 4 years ago, the COVID-19 pandemic was instrumental in plunging the economy in a negative 10% deficit. And because the Jamaican economy has always been resilient and robust, we were able to bounce back within a year and a half. Now, what does this mean? Rebounding means that we are going to nullify the negative growth that occurred in the third and fourth quarter and get back to our usual 1% growth per annum. Now, the Jamaican economy will face structural challenges, and in order for us to be able to improve the locomotion, I agree with Keenan that the government must embark on a significant capital expenditure program. We have to now begin to look at the infrastructural build-up of the country and to see what role government can play in providing the right atmosphere and the right economic infrastructural assistance for business development. You know, we're looking at healthcare system across the length and breadth of the country right now. We face some challenges in St. James, in the Cornwall Regional Hospital. We face some challenges in Westmoreland at Savile and Amar Hospital. So we have to begin to now look at what are we as a government. And as Dr. Clark quite rightly said, the public services that the country offers are healthcare, transportation, national security, education. The government must now begin to see what role these are going to play in enhancing the labor productivity as well as the total factor productivity. But fundamentally, we can continue to look at these particular external shocks as well as we need to internalize to recognize that we have a significant human capital deficiency as a country. And as well as, along with human capital deficiency, that variable, along with corruption, based on my research, are the two most impactful variables as it relates to labor and total factor productivity.
Before you get to those social factors, Dr. Horton, you talked about the kind of spending that would be required for in terms of infrastructure. Do you count the Spark program as one such program that could drive the kind of growth that you're speaking to, $45 billion?
Not in its entirety. We face a significant challenge where industrial output is concerned, especially where agriculture is concerned. The Essex Valley project has been going on for the last 5 years. We spend billions of dollars trying to improve the water situation. But to stabilize agriculture, we definitely need now to be looking at how innovation and technology can assist, because we are still impacted by drought sometimes, still impacted by floods sometimes, and still impacted by the prevalence of hurricanes. Now, one would assume that we're in 2025 when we learned from the 1951 storm. So that was about 74 years ago. And in 2025, Jamaica still not have developed the robustness that is necessary for us to benefit and for us to maintain buffers against negative external shocks. So until we begin to look at our industries individually and to see what they will require for them to improve, then we will continue to be in the same cyclical process of growth sometime, marginal growth sometime, deficit sometime, without that stabilized output upward trajectory that we need in order to achieve our Vision 2030 goals by 2060.
Hold the line for us, Dr. Horton, Dr. Clark. And after the break, we're going to bring in financial analyst John Jackson. Stay with us.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:44.
Label Crafts Jamaica Limited offers exceptional finishes that will make your product extraordinary at an affordable cost. The Temperature, brought to you by Label Crafts Jamaica Limited. The #1 choice for label printing is...
It's 29 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston. It's 27 out west in Montego Bay. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5, having a conversation about the economic outlook for the country. Economist Keenan Faulkner says he believes the economy will recover quickly following the recent contraction in the third quarter of 2024. We have with us the Dean, or rather Senior Lecturer in the Department of Economics and Deputy Dean in the Faculty of Social Sciences at the UWI-Mona, Dr. Christine Clark. We also have financial analyst and founder of ICinsider.com, John Jackson, economist and opposition spokesperson on commerce, technology, and innovation, Dr. Andre Horton, is with us. John Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon. Your perspective on the outlook in terms of recovery prospects for the economy?
Well, the information that seems to be available is that tourism should rebound, and that I focus on that and start with that because that is the major fallout of 2024, and there are a lot of linkages, linking industries that were affected because of the fall off in the tourism sector. The tourism sector fell off for two major reasons. One, it was an election year, major election year in the United States, which meant that persons, Americans, did not travel as much as they had domestic duties to deal with. And those numbers are, the fall off is not only visible in the Jamaican numbers, it's visible in numbers for Mexico. So we're not alone with that. The weather conditions in Jamaica, not just the hurricanes, but also the highly wet conditions since May of last year, straight until the end of the year, would have caused some persons not to want a vacation in Jamaica during that period of time. I can't speak to what the weather would be like in 2025, but I would expect to see a rebound of the tourism sector back to some level of normality. And if that were to take place, a lot of the linked industries that suffered from lack of sales and production would come into their own again and be able to supply stuff. There is another factor which hasn't been spoken about, but the truth be told is that the Bank of Jamaica tightened the money supply considerably during the first quarter into April of last year, and that had a seep-through effect across the economy for the entire 2024. So several companies just didn't perform because the funds weren't there in the wider society to finance people's desires or demand they may have for goods and services. So with the lowering of interest rates significantly since last year, I would expect, and one has seen certainly in the case of the overall loan portfolio, year over year to October grew by nearly 9%. And we know that in the case of Bank of Nova Scotia, their loans grew 16% for their fiscal year, which ends in October. More importantly, as far as I'm concerned, is that in their third quarter, loans grew at 22%, and in the final quarter, it grew at an astounding 29% on a per annum basis. So that one sees those areas. The other factor to add to it, now you've mentioned Spark and other infrastructure spending will actually add additional demand or supply or whatever to the system, stimulate the system in a serious way, and the whole matter of election and electioneering and spending during this year is likely to increase above what it would have been last year. So I think there are a number of things, barring any unforeseen negative developments, that bodes very well for the wider economy this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you, Dr. Clark, going forward, looking to next year, the key sectors from your perspective where we are likely to see the rebound. We heard some from John a while ago. What's your take on that?
Well, I think as per usual, we will expect or we will see some rebound from agriculture. As Dr. Hahn indicated, that is really an area in which we continue to see these cycles, of not really leveraging the knowledge that we have, the technology that is available. We're still farming open land, open air, and despite knowing, I think the Ministry of Agriculture through RADA will be trying to plug some of those gaps, infusing technology or basically sheltered agriculture to ensure that as the weather goes through its peaks and troughs, we're not negatively impacted there. The infrastructure development is going to continue to be important. So I think construction will play a further role in this area, because I know that, for example, we're expecting 5,000 houses, I think. I saw in one publication to be delivered, I think, through the next fiscal year. So that will have some impact, I think, going through the economy. Or tourism, I'm sure. I think there was a fall off also in terms of the aviation. The number of seats that were coming in, I think, was one of the factors highlighted by Minister Bartlett. So I'm sure he will be hitting the road, as it were, to try to ensure that inflow is at least facilitated by the airlines going into the next season. So I think there are clear areas where ministers will be kind of on the ground to try to see the extent to which they can either ameliorate the challenges in the sector or try to make the linkages a little more clearer with the domestic capacity to basically produce or regular forms of output.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Horton, you spoke earlier about the need for productivity as a important part of growth going forward. But we've been grappling with that for so long as a country. And I'm tempted sometimes to ask, what new approaches can we take to that matter of productivity such that we'll realize the kind of growth that we keep talking about?
Yeah, this is the problem that we face as a country, right? The whole idea is that we intend to grow, but we pay attention only to a few industries. For example, tourism. Let me not talk about agriculture, because the attention that we pay there is just strictly waste of resources and lip service. No, but the point I'm trying to make is this. In order for us to grow, we have to dichotomize each industry to see the growth potential that they have and to calculate what is the future of this industry, both in the medium to the long term, because everything has to be calculated. What my research has shown is that whenever we find ourselves with industry challenges, lack of output or problem solving, we tend to hire horizontally. So what we do is to hire people of the same level. So we end up with a too many cooks spoil the broth situation, where since 2005, our industries have not been able to produce at their maximum. And all of them are hiring more people than is required for them to produce their maximum. Now, what does this mean? In 1950, technology represented 0% of China's GDP. And today, technology represents over 32% of China's GDP. This means that each industry, whether it want to be the financial industry, education, healthcare, agriculture, tourism, we now need to begin to measure technology as a whole to see how technology is impacting all these industries, and also provide a technology and innovation fund for firms for them now to assist to assist them to innovate, to achieve higher levels of productivity. So instead of just hiring more people, they now hire greater levels of technology, and the people that they hire, instead of hiring horizontally, we hire vertically. So what I've done in my most recent book, Overcoming Productivity Challenges in Small Countries, is to give Jamaica a head start by dichotomizing all these industries so that there are lessons to be learned from them. Too many lessons for us to discuss here on a single talk show program. We'll have to probably find some more time. But the idea is that we have not been able to capitalize on the technological boom that has been taking place over the world since 1950, and now we're moving into the fourth and fifth industrial revolution together, and Jamaica must put itself at the forefront. So we need a technology and innovation fund to assist these firms to get up to par, and the government itself within its ministries, departments, and agencies must be able to now find excess labor that exists, retrain them, and then twin them with the necessary technological instruments that they need for government to become efficient. And if
But can we do that? Can we do that without first infusing technology at, for example, the base of the education system, so that it becomes a sort of second nature to our people?
Everything has to happen concurrently. And technology is not like, how should I say, like English or mathematics. It is like a tool, like a hammer or a nail or a computer, or it is a thing that assists labor to assist it to achieve its objective. And what happens is that you are right. We have to begin to retrain people, but we have to know what we are retraining them for. So we cannot take the wholesale approach of, say, okay, we're going to teach technology in school. We've been teaching information technology in school. But as Elon Musk says, the school system is designed in such a way where they teach you everything about the hammer instead of giving you a problem and say, what tools do you need to solve this problem? Do you need a hammer? Do you need a screwdriver? Do you need a nail? So we definitely need to rethink how we approach this technical process, because what my research also shows is that it's impossible for us to achieve our Vision 2030 goals by 2030. But if we are able now to look at the technological underpinnings of each industry and to allow technology to seep in, then we might be able to achieve it by 2060.
Yeah. We're out of time. Dr. Horton, John Jackson, Dr. Clark, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, man. Have a good one.
Thank you.
And we have an update on that situation in the gorge where a trailer truck was seen blocking Flatbridge.
Yes.
We understand the blockage has been cleared now, Dana?
Yes.
Right? So if you're traveling in that area, you should have smooth sailing, yeah?
Yeah. All right. That's how we're going to leave it for the cover story. We're going to go to the headlines now. And then a little later, we're going to be having at 7 this evening, Nature's Remedies. Don't forget that.
Cover Story was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, nationwide this morning for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Norige Banton. Residents of Port Royal in East Kingston will now benefit from an improved water supply system following the commission of new pipeline in the constituency on Tuesday. The more than $500 million upgrade will see the replacement of fragile pipelines with modern, high-density pipes. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the upgrade forms part of the government's plan to create Port Royal as an entertainment destination to further boost the country's economy. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony on Tuesday, Prime Minister Holness says the upgrade will improve the access to potable water for residents and visitors.
We have laid approximately 8.6 kilometers of modern, high-density polyethylene pipes. The people of Port Royal were literally suffering from aged infrastructure. And this aged infrastructure simply could not carry the volume of water. It couldn't take the pressure of the water, and they would break frequently. What we have done is to change the kind of pipe, which are very robust, and they are designed to last much longer. And over 2,000 residents of this area, not to mention the persons who visit here on a weekend and the possible cruise ship visitors, they will all have the convenience of potable water.
The installation was done at a cost of $533 million Jamaican dollars. According to Prime Minister Holness, the upgrade is one of several being done to improve the sunken city.
One of the critical investments to be made was to put in place the facility for docking cruise ships. We have made that investment. The second investment was to put in place some facilities to receive the cruise ship visitors when they come. And we have put in place the new pier and customs facilities. We have built a new museum and restaurant. And we have started to do some improvements of the sidewalk and various little things within the town. We have made this massive investment again in the water. We have one more major investment, and that is in the sewage. And then another major investment to come, which is to give you a beautiful road from the roundabout straight into the town.
Prime Minister Holness says the investments form part of the government's plan to make Port Royal an economic hub. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it cannot at this time confirm whether the two people found dead on a JetBlue aircraft are Jamaicans. The bodies were discovered in the wheel well of the aircraft during a routine post-flight inspection. The jet had landed in the southern state of Florida on arrival from John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York. In a post on X, Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says there's no immediate basis on which to conclude that they are Jamaicans. She says while there's speculation regarding the nationalities of the two persons found, her ministry's information to date is that the matter remains unclear. Minister Johnson-Smith says her ministry remains in contact with the relevant authorities and will update the public as soon as greater clarity and accuracy have been brought to bear on the tragic incident. Jamaica's Ministry of Health and Wellness has announced that no case of human metapneumovirus, HMPV, has been detected in the country as of now. The ministry sought to reassure the public in a statement on Tuesday. This follows detection of the virus in other countries, including an uptick in cases in the United States. The Ministry of Health says the risk of an HMPV outbreak in the Caribbean remains low but may increase in the coming weeks. That's based on information from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA. However, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Besesa McKenzie says no cases have been detected so far.
Jamaica is currently experiencing the rise in respiratory illnesses normally seen at this time of the year. Influenza A, H1N1, the pandemic strain, is the predominant strain in circulation in Jamaica. We had 256 cases in 2024. This is followed by influenza A, H3N2. We had 62 cases in 2024, and a few cases of influenza B, 5 cases in 2024. We have not had any case of avian influenza A, which is H5N1, nor have we had any case of human metapneumovirus, HMPV.
HMPV is a virus which primarily affects the upper and lower respiratory systems. While it can impact individuals of all ages, certain groups such as young children under 5, the elderly, and those with weakened immune systems are particularly vulnerable to more severe outcomes. Symptoms of HMPV infection are similar to those of other respiratory illnesses, including cough, fever, nasal congestion, and shortness of breath, which could progress into conditions like bronchitis or pneumonia. While the Chief Medical Officer says no cases have been detected, she urged Jamaicans to be vigilant, particularly the most vulnerable.
Persons with chronic illnesses must ensure that they are taking their medications. Generally, we should ensure that we're drinking plenty of fluids and taking our vitamins, lots of fruits and vegetables, and that we're eating healthy and exercise. These things will make us more able to fight off these illnesses.
Dr. Jacqueline Besesa McKenzie, Chief Medical Officer. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay. Bant on Sports is next.
Want to reduce your high electricity bills? Then Peak Energy has the solution for you. From grid-tied to hybrid solar inverters with full lithium-ion battery pack. Installation and maintenance packages available. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hill, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads Podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica's national under-17 football team lost their second game at the Tornado del Sol tournament in Mexico today. The young reggae boys, who opened the campaign with a 3-2 win over Selección Bajeo, suffered a 2-0 defeat against Selection North under 19. The Jamaicans will hope to return to winning ways when they take on Liga Premier League team tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 Jamaica time. Newcastle United took a major step towards a spot in the Carabao Cup final after beating Arsenal 2-0 in the first leg of their semi-final tie at the Emirates today. Red-hot Swedish striker Alexander Isak gave the Magpies the lead on 38 minutes before Anthony Gordon bagged the second on 51 minutes.
Floated forward by Dubravka. Plenty tried again on the end of it. Isak does! And Isak scores! Newcastle United's main man is at it again. The first goal of this semi-final is a Newcastle one, and a Newcastle one in North London. Arsenal 0, Newcastle 1. Murphy finds Isak. Isak finds the shot, and Anthony Gordon follows in. That's big. That is big in the context of this tie, and that is huge for Newcastle United. 6 minutes into this second half, Newcastle have a second, and they are in control.
And the striker Alexander Isak, he was born in Sweden to Eritrean parents, but he's decided to play for Sweden. Now the second leg will be played at St. James's Park in 2 weeks' time. Meanwhile, the first leg of semi-final 2 between league leaders Liverpool and Tottenham will be played in London tomorrow. Jamaica's Andre Coley is on his last trip as head coach of the West Indies team there in Pakistan for a 2-test series. The series marks the final installment of the 2-year World Test Championship cycle, which will see the West Indies playing a test series in Pakistan for the first time in 18 years. The first test is set for Multan Cricket Stadium starting on January 17, with the second starting 8 days later at the same stadium. Coley says the focus is on building on what they've done well and transforming the learnings from 2024 into tangible results this year.
A new series, a new opportunity. We haven't played a test series or a test match in Pakistan for a few years. So we're all looking forward to it, to the challenges that it will pose. Yes, it's a little cooler than what we would have been accustomed to in the Caribbean, but we are also prepared for that. And having arrived in Pakistan, we continued a bit of recovery. And then we start training after a couple of days that would lead into the 3-day match that we have as part of our prep ahead of the test series.
And Coley says the warm-up match will shape how they approach a test series.
We're not going in our prep with any expectations. When we go there, we'll assess the conditions. That's the whole idea of having some prep time ahead of the test series. Sometimes you could go into a series, go into a condition that is potentially a bit different from what you're used to at home. But we're going to make sure that when we get on the ground that we assess what the conditions are, then we prepare. And then based on what we expect in Multan, we will then continue to shape our preparation around that.
Andre Coley, West Indies Test team coach. Legendary former West Indies cricket captain Sir Clive Lloyd has responded strongly to media reports out of Australia that talks are underway to split Test-playing nations into 2 divisions. A report in the Sydney Morning Herald yesterday suggested that Australia, England, India and the International Cricket Council's new chairman Jay Shah are in talks to split Test cricket into 2 divisions so the big 3 nations can play each other more often. The report noted that the concept of 2 tiers in Test cricket was previously floated at the ICC level in 2016 with a model where 7 nations would compete in the top division and 5 in the second rank. It added that any plan for to move to a Division 2 in Test cricket would kick in after the end of the current Futures Tour programs, which will come to an end in 2027. 7. However, Lloyd does not see the West Indies, currently ranked 8th out of the 12 test-playing teams, recovering if they were confined to a Tier 2. In a regional and international Zoom media meeting called yesterday, Sir Clive said the West Indies are already in a very vulnerable situation, adding that the two-tier system would make them even worse. Lloyd, who led the Caribbean team in 125 test matches, in which the team became the unofficial world champions, and also in 87 one-day internationals, including back-to-back World Cup title, said the West Indies deserve the special consideration. Lloyd says the West Indies needs a special dispensation because for years they were the cash cows for a lot of countries, and that must count for something. He said the West Indies has been in the ICC for nearly 100 years, and perhaps that has been the most successful test team over the years. Sir Clive added that the West Indies aside, a two-tier system would be bad for all smaller test nations. He questioned the great financial imbalance in how the world governing body distributes its funds. He says he's yet to understand how of the 12 test-playing nations, 3 are getting $180 million and the others getting $80 million combined. National defender Jodian Ward says the Sunshine Girls will be aiming for a sweep when they face South Africa in a 3-match netball series at the National Indoor Sports Centre January 18, 22 and 25. The teams will be competing for the Margaret Beckford Trophy. This series follows on the Sunshine Girls' outstanding performance at home in the recently concluded Horizon series against England, with the Jamaicans emerging winners 2-1 over the 4 games. Ward says the team has the tools to win all 3 games.
Jamaica can expect some great netball. We have been training really hard and we've been preparing for South Africa similarly to the way we prepared for England. This is really going to be a series to show if we can actually put out a full performance. We did drop the ball for the first couple of games against England, so we are just looking to solidify everything to actually come away with a clean sweep.
Ward says ace defender Shamira Sterling Humphrey was named captain of the team, and that boosts a mix of experience and upcoming talent.
These Cropper girls really can get the job done. We're swapping out the goal shooter, Babe Romelda, with Shimona for this series, and I think Shimona can actually execute just similarly to Romelda. We're very lucky to have such great targets in our shooting circle, and similarly in the defensive end as well. There are some great talent there as well, with Shamira, Sterling Humphrey, Latanya Wilson, myself, Kimon Shaw, and Teresa Beckford. We really have some great talent in both ends and in the midcourt as well. We have a lot of young, youthful players in the midcourt and experience. So with all that combined, I think that we can really execute.
Jody and Ward, the Sunshine Girls will need to win the series against South Africa to maintain their third-place ranking, as South Africa will also play England in the Quad Series in February. Jamaica female driver Sarah Messier is set to embark on an exciting new chapter in her illustrious career as she joins Team Blue Rising for Season 2 of the E1 Series, the world's first all-electric raceboat championship, co-owned by Indian cricket legend Virat Kohli and sports tech entrepreneur Audrey Mishra. Team Blue Rising is part of a star-studded lineup of celebrity-owned teams, including global icons such as Will Smith, Tom Brady, Didier Drogba, and Rafa Nadal. The E1 Series begins its second season with the first race in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, on January 25, showcasing cutting-edge electric power boats called the Racebirds in an action-packed, eco-conscious format. Sarah Messier will team up with co-pilot John Peters of the USA, a water sport legend boasting over 65 world records and 19 championships. Together, they aim to deliver high-speed excitement while representing Team Blue Rising. The 4-time Jamaican Motorsport Athlete of the Year looks forward to the challenge. She represented Jamaica as a junior equestrian champion before switching her focus to motorsport. In 2018, she secured a top 10 finish in the Florida Winter Tour. And that will do it for sports.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
29 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 26 in the western city, Montego Bay.
The management and the staff of the Jamaica Customs Agency extend the very best wishes to you and your family for a safe, peaceful, and enjoyable holiday. Whether you're effecting clearance at the port, traveling to and from the airport, or undertaking other transactions, we urge you to travel safely, use good judgment, and stay within the speed limit. We thank you for your support throughout 2024 and look forward to a healthy, prosperous, and productive new year. Happy New Year! From Jamaica Customs.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With this thing I Honey Bee.
And Karim Boyatings.
From 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. What you said.
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezone blinddates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Cliff Says is by far the most popular mid-morning radio segment in Jamaica. Cliff Hughes shares his views on the hot-button topics of the day, editorializing on various issues in the news, breaking news stories, and expounding on stories. Cliff Says sets the tone of the show for the rest of the day. Join the award-winning journalist Cliff Hughes weekdays during Cliff Hughes Online at 10 to 10:30 a.m. Join the revolution in media.
Cliff Says is brought to you by Educom Credit Union, providing value through service, and Hyundai, modern premium affordable vehicles.
Taboo topics. Bulletins after dark.
Riveting discussion.
Celebrity news and interviews.
Topics that are shunned by society.
And everything else in between. Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m. Boyatings After Dark. No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored. Boyatings After Dark.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, we like to hear from you, so we ask you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. So let's get to it. The opposition spokesman on national security, Senator Peter Bunting, says Portfolio Minister Dr. Horace Chang doesn't deserve much credit for the reduction in major crimes, especially murder, in 2024.
Dr. Chang has been able to pass this ESMA, and he chats rubbish like the story you carried on your program. That, well, maybe they'll just have to do it without the opposition. They've never even presented a bill to me, and I've been on CMAC for over 5 years. They have never brought a bill that we have turned down. And in fact, the ESMA doesn't even require the opposition. It's not legislation, it's ordinary legislation. So this sort of pure excuse making is, I will be critical of him. Dr. Chang has not been a dynamic minister, and all the credit, or a lot of the credit for this, I give to the GSF and the change in strategy in using the serial and routine use of the failed SOE.
Senator Peter Bunting, opposition spokesman on national security. So police statistics show that 1,139 murders were recorded in 2024. That's 265 fewer than 2023. In a statement last Thursday, Dr. Chang commended the JCF for what he says was an outstanding performance last year. Minister Chang attributed the achievement to the comprehensive investments made by the government in the JCF. He also credited the expansion of human resource, training, technology, and physical infrastructure, as well as the force's highly motivated workforce and effective leadership. So this evening, we're putting the question to you. We're asking you, does Dr. Chang deserve any credit for the reduction in murders in 2024? That's the public opinion this evening. Does Dr. Horace Chang deserve any credit for the reduction in murders in 2024? On our Facebook platform, Winston says yes, he does. Anthony Shakes, yes, Dr. Chang should and must be credited. When things go bad, he's blamed and called names. Now we see things are going good in security, and you say he should not be credited? All right. Hugh Prendergast is questioning, did Bunting deserve any credit he took in 2012 when there was a reduction in crime? Something he didn't contribute to. Make that happen as it was already going down. Okay. George Alwood is saying, yes, he does. When it's bad, he gets the stick. So it's only fair that when it's good, he gets some credit. Fabian Smith believes that, yes, the entire government deserves credit. When it goes bad, we blame the government. So when it's going good, they should get credit also. And also the police. Lovely Dawkins saying that absolutely he was the man lobbying for more funding. So why not? Yeah. Elorita Mitchell, here are some of Dr. Chang's achievements. The most resources provided to the security forces in Jamaica history, more vehicles delivered to the force, improvements in the use of technology, more station built and renovated. And she went on with a host of others. She says that he's the head and shoulder above all PNP security ministers who were absolute failures. Robert Ranger says every player should be credited. It's not a one-man band. Dr. Chang should get more than a credit to perform such a great job, says Headley Sardio. Kurt Powell says yes, he received all the blame when things were bad. Pamela Bennett is also saying yes, he deserves a whole lot of credit. Marvin Reed believes that Dr. Horace Chang is a visionary. Philip Jackson saying that he heard Bunting with him bad mind self. Wow. How can organization gets credit but the leader that of the organization should be exempt? What can go so? Yeah. Beverly Barrett is saying that he was not robbed by any gunmen. Audley Clark is saying yes, he deserves. Let me see if I can find Salome Paul says yes, he should be credited. Crime is on the decline because of increase in technology, mobility of the police force, and the increase in numbers. These are all policy decisions. Christopher Isaac saying absolutely. Patricia saying yes. Euphema saying no, the new commissioner and or Lord Jesus Christ, yeah? Let me see. Michelle Bernard says, never before in the history of police force so many stations have been built, upgraded, different types of vehicles, Jamaica Eye, different types of technology. Yeah? Nicole Whitaker is being cheeky, asking if I must Digicel credit. Let me see if I can get in a few more. If you're just joining us, we're asking, does Dr. Horace Chang deserve any credit for the reduction in murders in 2024. Wilson on X saying if there was an increase, he would have been blamed. So just the same, if there is a decrease, he should be commended and given the credit he deserves. Jay Brown is saying full credit goes to Dr. Chang. The buck stops with him. Don Messi also saying yes, he does. The resources, policies, legislative changes all have helped to save over 200 lives. Yeah? Voice of Truth saying that the ordinary Jamaican can see the changes in the Jamaica Constabulary Force through strategic directives. He's saying that Horace, as the policymaker, must also be credited. Yeah? Let me see if I can get in a few more of the comments. I'll turn to our Instagram platform where Titch is saying yes because the government that he's a part of invested and continues to invest largely. HM is saying that if crime got worse, he would be blamed. So if it goes down, then he should be credited. It's only fair. Padworthy, doing nothing for 8 years and allowing crime to reach the heights it has and now wanting credit for its reduction is ludicrous. Yeah? Nicole Whitaker again saying digital phone credit. All right, let me see if I can get in. Paul Best Deal says blame and credit are two sides of the same coin. Yeah. And Jesse is questioning what reduction. Yeah. News TV saying no. Let me see if I can get in a few more on our YouTube platform. Denzel M believes that Bunting is out of touch. Can't be negative Nancy all the time, says Denzel M on our YouTube. CJ Martinez believes that Dr. Chang deserves no credit whatsoever. If I was the PM, he wouldn't be a minister. That's according to CJ Martinez. Let me see if I can get in some more. Killian Henry believes that statement from Peter Bunting diminish him badly. Can't believe a learned man who wants to lead would say such a hogwash. Bunting, break up your folly grown. All right. Electro saying Dr. Chang deserves all the credit. Loxley Gregory saying credit when the Mobe gangs. That, no, Loxley. Wow, you want to get me in a problem this, so? Delroy Walker says Dr. Chang deserves credit, of course, and things of note, he didn't shed one tear. All right. Sean Davis says, and it's going to go down more. That's what we want indeed. Derek Lewis is saying, who has seen the... All right, not related to the question. Deshaun Chung says he deserves every credit. James is questioning, so if it's not Dr. Chang, it must be divine intervention, which Bunting did not pay for. All right, let me see if I can get in a few more. Fitzroy Pitter saying that the opposition leader and Mr. Bunting just showing how their insides are. Betsy Powell says yes. Ronald Bennett says good job sleeping in Parliament, Chang. Wow. Otis saying yes, Dr. Chang and all the JCF and JDF must get their flowers. Yeah, man. Fully disclosed says Bunting is the only security minister. Can't say that. Betsy Powell saying big up the government and the security force. Yeah. A lot of comments coming in on this one. Jam Grand saying, of course, Dr. Chang deserves all the credit. When crime goes up, he get all the curse. Yeah. E. Phillips saying, yes, Bunting needs to take several seats. Ryan McCullough saying, if it was something negative, he would have been blamed, so why not give him his flowers? Yeah. A lot of comments coming in on this one, and we do truly appreciate your views, your responses. But that's all the time we have for public opinion this evening. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:33.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 Southwest in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Meta is abandoning the use of independent fact-checkers on Facebook and Instagram, replacing them with X-style community notes where commenting on the accuracy of posts is left to users. In a video posted alongside a blog post by the company on Tuesday, Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg said third-party moderators were too politically biased, and it was time to get back to our roots around free expression. The move comes as Zuckerberg and other tech executives seek to improve relations with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump before he takes office later this month. Trump and his Republican allies have criticized Meta for its fact-checking policy, calling it censorship of right-wing voices. In the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 28 cents to buy $1, 195 Jamaican dollars and 64 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 109 Jamaican dollars and 80 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091. Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come on, let's go back in time.
This magic moment
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide this morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
Principal of the University of the West Indies, the Mona campus, Professor Denzel Williams, is raising an alarm about the readiness of the country's workforce. He was speaking at Z Jamaica's robotics conference at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel today. The professor says with a labor force of approximately 1.3 million people, 70% or 910,000 Jamaicans are within the prime working age of 25 to 54 years old. However, go ahead.
He says only 13% have high-level certification, for example, a university degree. 36% of the cohort have only lower level qualification, for example, Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, and the National Vocational Qualification of Jamaica, the NCQJ. Professor Williams says it's even more frightening that 49% of the cohort do not possess any qualification.
He also noted that there's been a decline in enrollment in post-secondary and tertiary institutions once the population reaches 16 years of age. The professor says Jamaica will not achieve inclusive economic growth if we do not have more people educated at an internationally competitive level that can allow them to participate in the global economy. This, he says, will drive domestic wealth creation.
Professor Williams joins us now, as well as the president of the Employers Federation, Wayne Chen. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. Good evening, Wayne. Good evening, Chris. And
Denzel, Happy New Year.
Listeners as
Chris
well.
Ricardo, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too. Good evening.
Yeah.
All right.
Good evening. Yeah.
These numbers make for very grim reading, Professor Williams.
Yeah.
And they're not surprising. We've been hearing about them for quite a while. Yes, but you have put them in very stark terms, given the fact that here we are at the beginning of 2025 and our labor force, our levels of productivity, our levels of education seem to be regressing. Yeah? 49% of the prime working age group of 25 to 54 does not have any qualification. Almost one in two?
Yeah. Almost half. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So the truth is that, Chris and listeners, while, as you have put it, that it makes for uncomfortable reading, I think the only green shoot that we can take from it, though, is that while the numbers are still very, very low, what we have seen over the years is an improvement. So, for example, we would be coming from, in terms of university degree, somewhere about 7 to 8%. We're now at 13%. So that's a good sign that we're progressing in the right direction.
Over what period of time, though?
It's like maybe over the last decade or so, yeah, that we have been moving. So it is slow, but I think it's still trending in the right direction. So, for example, in terms of gross enrollment ratio in post-secondary education, compared to 2018, where we were roughly about 16%, we are now at about 20% after age 16. That is, those people after age 16 who move on to tertiary post-secondary education. So again, it's heading in the right direction. But the real issue is that it's just genuinely too low. So you don't have the mass of people who can really, engage in the labor force in a very productive way, so that we can enhance productivity and they can actually earn higher income and participate in a competitive economy in a real way, so that they can actually see the real gain from labor. I heard your earlier discussion with Dr. Horton and Dr. John Jackson and the others, and you touched on the issue with productivity. The truth is that despite Dr. Horton's protestation about the role of technology, if you're not educated at a certain level, the use of technology or the implementation of technology in the workforce is still not going to give you that added value. And that is really what we're arguing about, how we can get our people educated at a certain level so that they can move to a new way of doing things. And when you look at the data that I presented, I combine that with the innovation index, for example, because it is through education that you're going to drive the kind of innovation that is adding value added and can improve productivity. And that is really what we want to see coming out of our workforce.
Mm-hmm. And Professor, have you interrogated the reasons or the factors that's driving the decline in those seeking post-secondary education? You said that there's a decline once the population reaches about 16 years old.
Right. That's an excellent question, Ricardo, because I think the challenge that you're having here, there are a number of factors that you can look at, but one of them is the cost associated with higher education, post-secondary education. So that's one factor that we have to look at in terms of how many people can now afford to go to post-secondary secondary education, having achieved almost universal access at the primary and secondary level. So you have these members of the population who go to primary and secondary school because it's kind of free, basically. So when I looked at the numbers, it is saying we have almost a 90, I think some years it's 98.5, 99 in terms of gross enrollment. But by the time they reach on to going to know things like university and colleges and stuff, the cost becomes such a big factor that they can't afford to go there. And as a result of that, we have a bunch of people who have lower level qualifications but can't break through. And that is why we need to think through how we're going to now fund the education continuum so that the people who now have the ability to move through can move through seamlessly rather than now having to stay there and not be able to break through because of the cost of higher education.
But isn't it also true that the universities like the University of the West Indies, you've sort of now treated education as a commodity, a business, and that's also part of the reason that so many people can't access it, because it's now purely a business, a profit-making enterprise?
To be honest, I mean, I don't know about other universities, but not the UWI at all, because if we were to do that, some of the financial issues that we face, we would have been completely eroded. We're still a publicly funded university, and a lot of our programs here, for example, I would say underpriced, and their prices at a position where we have access, where students can have real access to these things. But I mean, other places may be using it as a kind of a market-driven approach to this thing, and that is really where, again, proper economic planning comes in, because the state now has to take a position on this. How do they want to treat education? Is it merely a commodity that is supposed to be sold in the market and the highest bidder gets it, or is it going to be a developmental tool for the nation, and the state has to make strategic intervention in it?
Let me ask Wayne Chen now to put on your employer's hat as president of the Employers Federation. These figures translate on the shop floor, in the offices, at the workplaces, right across Jamaica. What are your members seeing in terms of the low skills level and qualifications? Those are costs.
Well, my members have been bawling out for quite a while that there is a skills shortage in Jamaica. But, Cliff, I get a deep sense of deja vu when I listen to this discussion, because on this very radio station, I recall perhaps maybe 15 years ago having the same discussion with Denzel's predecessor, Professor Gordon Shirley, when he pointed out the low level of, the relatively low percentage of tertiary graduates in Jamaica compared to our Latin American, Caribbean peers, and certainly compared to the developed countries. But we have to put it in a context. I mean, to add to the policymakers' challenge is the fact that Jamaica, the World Bank pointed out that decade ago that Jamaica has the second highest rate of brain drain in the Western Hemisphere. About 80% of our tertiary graduates leave. Only Guyana surpassed us, and I can tell you without fear of contradiction that we now have the highest rate, because Guyana has, to a large measure, curbed its own brain drain issue. So Jamaica stands alone in terms of not only having a relatively low-skilled workforce, not only having one of the worst rates of productivity improvement in the hemisphere over the last 50 years, but we also now have the highest rate of brain drain. So there are many dilemmas facing policymakers, and this has been pointed out many times over the years, going back to the Ray Davis Commission, and he was the former president of the University of Technology, pointed out again by Professor Shirley and others at UWI, most recently highlighted in the Atchison Commission report, and last year by Dr. Wayne Henry at the PIOJ. This is something that's well known, that Jamaica, if we're going to make a quantum leap forward in economic growth and development, we have to rapidly increase the high-value skills in the economy. We can't take the incremental approach, especially when our neighbors, our rich neighbors, I mean, most recently, and I know you follow U.S. politics, when you see people close to the incoming President Trump already debating an expansion of the H-1B visa program, there's going to be a giant fucking sound when they skim off more skilled Jamaicans into that market.
Yes.
So we have a big dilemma in front of us, and we have to rapidly ramp up training our people in marketable skills. UWI and other tertiary institutions have to understand that we have to move to more micro-credentials. I'm not saying the bachelor's and master's and PhDs are obsolete, but we have to get more responsive to the needs of the local and international market for the sake of our people. We have to talk about employability skills, once upon a time called soft skills. We have to understand, too, that separate and apart from the island of Jamaica, there's a huge global virtual economy that our people can access, young and old, if we have the right skills that we can trade online. So there are many opportunities as well as the challenges, but we have to change gear in terms of our education and training and our attitude to the certification of skills and how we really respond to the current and future needs of work. And I want to add one more. In parallel, we have to talk about not only talk about, but implement the digital transformation of our economy, of the public sector, of our companies, because Jamaica has to insulate itself. And I heard the earlier debate. I heard Andre talk about exogenous shocks. We're a small island, vulnerable economy. We have to insulate ourselves by tapping into the bigger global economy in terms of economic diversification to build resilience. So there are several challenges, not insurmountable, but we have to put our minds to them.
And interestingly, Wayne, that's exactly why the upskilling of the labor force is critical, because if you're going to tap into the global economy, you really can't tap into the global economy with unskilled workers and uncertified workers, and that is why it's important. But I may just share something with you, please, from Tyrone. There is an empirical piece of work that has been done. Oh, sorry, Ricardo, sorry. There is an empirical piece of work that has been done, which really looks at the value a graduate adds to the workforce. And what it says is that every 50% increase in the number of graduates in the workforce has 1.2% to GDP. And that's a known fact, yeah? It has been modeled across almost every economy everywhere. So just take, for example, if you were to add another 60,000 persons with graduate education to the workforce as we now have it in Jamaica, you would easily move the GDP by 1.2%. That's what it is really saying. So that's 118,000 that have the graduate certification. If you should add another 60,000 to that and move that to 170,000 per person, easily you could increase GDP by about 1.2%.
Professor Williams, are you satisfied, though, that the tertiary institutions are turning out graduates, yes, with the qualification, the degrees, but also what Wayne talked about, the skills that are necessary to be employed? Are you satisfied that the institutions are meeting that objective?
Well, I can't speak for the other institutions, but I know for UWI that what we are doing here is a massive review of our curriculum, because what we are more concerned about is not so much to train, but what we're doing is to turn out graduates that are critical thinkers, problem solvers, can interact in the global economy with complex situations, work in teams and all those kinds of things. So our curriculum is being revised to take those things into consideration, and also the interdisciplinary nature of what we do, because gone are the days when you only need a financial analyst who is locked in a room and try to run a model. No, you need a financial analyst to interact with a sociologist. You need a sociologist to interact with a physicist, etc. So we're having more interdisciplinary degrees at the university as well to deal with those kinds of issues in the workforce. So what we're turning out are not so much a man that is trained to build a car or to go to NCB and run a financial model. What we're trained is a problem solver, and that problem solving skill can be used whether in bauxite, whether in financial services, whether in tourism, whether in media, etc. That's the future of the learner that we're actually creating.
And Wayne Chen, you spoke about it, the revamping. I would say it's even more than revamping of the education system. The system we have now must be turned upside down, frankly, if we're going to try and catch up the distance we are lagging behind in the rest of the world. We have the Patterson report, implementation slow, but having read that report, I really wonder by the time we get around to implement parts of it, we'll have to come again because the world and technology
At the
are
pace it's
moving. Yes, so rapidly. Yeah,
It's not hanging around and waiting for us, Cliff. And that is my fear. We have an education crisis, and we don't want to, we're not even acknowledging that. It's difficult to get a revolutionary change in the run-up to a general election. But whatever happens after this election, whichever government forms the government of Jamaica later this year, we'll have to grab education. We'll have to grab the Patterson Commission report, which in many ways repeated earlier reports.
Yes.
And move to implementation. We have a huge implementation deficit in Jamaica, and we need a national conversation around education and training, because my fear is that Jamaica just falls further behind. And as I say, one of our curses and blessings is being next to an advanced economy that values Jamaican workers. They love our healthcare workers. They love our teachers. You can't find some teachers in the high school system in Jamaica because they are poached away by the Americans. I mean, I saw an article in the UK Guardian a few weeks ago that pointed out that 800 Jamaican science and math teachers emigrated to the UK in 2023 alone.
Right.
We
So,
are
Wayne,
fighting to keep up.
Sorry, finish, Wayne. Sorry.
Go ahead, Professor.
No, I was going to add to Wayne, based on what he was saying about a national conversation. I was going to say what we really need is something like an epoch-style conversation. So similar to what we had in 2012, 2013 there with the economy, when everybody recognized that, listen, we can't continue on this path with the macroeconomic situation that we face. And the nation pulled together where you had a social partnership, you had government, private sector, everybody. I think we need to have that conversation around education to say, guys, listen, let us admit that we have an education crisis, as you have just said, Wayne, and how are we going to get ourselves out of this? And, have that conversation with all the partners, etc., but show the urgency of it, because I think the challenge that we're facing is that, unlike the economic crisis where we saw debt to GDP was spiraling through the roof and carry on, I don't think that we feel that the urgency in education is of a crisis nature. And as a result of that, we don't take same approach to it. But it is going to now come back to haunt us 30 years down the line or even 15 years down the line. So we need to have that conversation now, agree that this is urgent, agree that we need to have an epoch-style conversation around it. And once we get that understanding and that acknowledgement, then you will see people starting to have the interest in education again.
Thank you very much.
I 100% endorse what you have just said, Denzel. And the fact is, for those who really understand Jamaica's recent past, they'll understand that social dialogue and partnership has played a huge role in where we are now. It has been fundamental in getting our fiscal program back on track. It has been fundamental in other areas of national life, in maintaining social peace while we figure it out. And education has to be the next one that we bring under the umbrella of social dialogue and partnership. It sounds woolly, but it's something that has yielded genuine results for Jamaica, real results for Jamaica, and can yield real results for education. The situation is not hopeless, The employers have put hundreds of billions of dollars into the Heart Trust, and the Heart Trust was created 40 years ago to really ramp up the level of skills in the economy. In 2025, the skills are different because we now have a digitalized world. We now have the threats of artificial intelligence. We have sectors in Jamaica, the BPO sector comes to mind, that has done relatively well, but faces the threat of being wiped out tomorrow by software.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to upskill. It's not just a matter of putting skills in here. We have to keep the skills relevant. And this is not just for the teenager and the university student, but for the person even near retirement in the workforce. Because if we want to move rapidly towards a digital transformation, which we have to eliminate lines in the tax office. We have to rid ourselves of all the inefficiencies that are structural and built into Jamaica if we are going to compete globally. And we have to give our young people a fighting chance. We have to allow them to be able to go on the internet and work flexi hours, get paid in the US euros or bitcoins, as far as I'm concerned. But we can't bequeath our young people the old paradigms that we are stuck in. We have to move forward and allow them to have a fighting chance for the future.
Yes. Wayne Chen is the president of the Jamaica Employers Federation. Professor Denzel Williams is the principal of the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All the very best. All the very best.
After the break, herbs and routine building for weight loss.
Make a look at work online and you'll endorse it, right? Because you allow me to?
Yeah.
You look at work, man.
Yeah, you give us a commission.
No.
Oh, do you mean no?
Why would we? Dana,
it's business.
We're
You're
look
going
at
to
work,
do it
man.
on our time.
No.
You're gonna do it.
Yeah, like before we come in the morning. Like
No, you don't have that discipline.
No, you
what
don't
you're
know.
going to do, you're going to cheat us.
No.
Yes?
No.
You're going to cheat us because if you have to get up
Then
to do the
I'm
work
bugs.
so that you
work.
you can service your account in London, yeah, you have to get up early.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have that discipline.
Is it my fight against youth?
No.
You're fight against youth?
No.
Me and Dana and Bugs, everything sort out.
I'm not sure about Bugs and Dana. I'm not sure about you.
We're going to look to work. Nature's Remedies.
GK1 now introduces third-party motor insurance from GK General Insurance. Download and log into the GK1 app, then select one of 3 affordable third-party options. The time by GK General Insurance is
3 minutes after 7.
It's flu season. Take DPH adult or children's formulation and eliminate your sniffling, coughing, sneezing, and itching. The temperature by DPH, minimize the symptoms, maximize the relief, is
28 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come and wine with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat.
Life skills.
Global Connect.
And Bust the Youth. That's the Talk Up Youth radio show. Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
None of mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking them.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio. My team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have grace, hey. Lord have mercy, hey. Spurlina build up me confidence. Rastafari run the continent. This King Selassie I your page.
6 minutes after 7 o'clock this Tuesday evening. It's Tuesday, January 7, 2025. Welcome to this week's episode of Nature's Remedies.
This week, we're focused on herbs and routine building for weight loss. Start of the year, people have resolutions. By January 31, you put it aside. Doc is going to talk to you about how to ensure that you keep up that routine. Of course, Nature's Remedies, the program where we educate you about the uses of natural herbs. And as usual, we'll be opening the line so you can call in with any questions you may have for our resident pharmacognosist. You know her well, Dr. Denise Daly. Good evening, Doc.
Good evening, Dr. Daly.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. I like your earrings.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a new year, new look.
Very well. Keep it up.
All right. Thank you.
So natural herbs. And
natural herbs. And how can we help ourselves build a new routine? As you mentioned, we make the New Year resolution plans. How can we ensure that after January 31st, we still maintain them? A quick question. How was the Christmas? Lots of food?
I had a good Christmas. Quiet, relaxing. Yes, got a lot of rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I chose not to go anywhere except Jamaica because I just wanted to rest.
Yeah.
Relax.
It was a good
That
Christmas.
is good. It was a good Christmas. That is good. And that's what the break is for, to enjoy the time, rest, relax, and eat as much as you can or can afford to do. However, what happens afterwards. So, some routine things that we can do include, one, different herbal teas. So we're going to talk about different herbal teas. We're going to talk about physical activity that we can incorporate that are quick and easy to do. And we're going to look at sleep quality. You can do a lot of things, but if you're not getting enough sleep, then your body does not get the time to rejuvenate. So it may just negate a lot of the things we're doing. Tip number 4 or 3, mindfulness and breathing. A lot of times we're not conscious. We just breathe to live. But sometimes you need to take a minute and just think and just breathe. And that clears the mind and enhances the flow of oxygen to the brain. So we're going to go into those a little bit. And also the food that we eat. So important, especially if we are packing on the calories over the holiday. How can we then reduce this going forward? All right.
So let's start with the herbs.
Which ones?
Let's start with the herbs.
All right. So for example, ginger. I know it's a common herb. We can grab it as quickly as possible, but it's also very good for weight loss. So when we talk about weight, we're talking about how much fat deposits we have. And therefore, ginger, it has gingerol in it. And gingerol is we call it a thermogenic herb, meaning it helps to increase the body temperature and it stimulates the release of heat. And therefore, you're using up some of your fat reserves. And when you do that, eventually you will have weight loss happening. So when is a good time to have ginger? You can have it in your water. Bring it with you every day to work, etc. And you can also have those ginger tea tablets or tea bags before a meal or after a meal. And it helps to stimulate metabolism.
When you say the ginger with your water, so just drop a piece of ginger in the water?
Yes, crush it and then put it in your water. Whether it's infused or just let it drop at the bottom of your water bottle. But it over time or throughout the day, it releases the gingerol. And you'll have a flavored water having throughout the day, which also helps with metabolism.
Oh, I must try that.
Yeah, and you can flavor it up a little more, add little cucumber slices, strawberries or anything like that. Any fruit, orange peel, anything like that you'd want to enjoy the flavor of, you can also incorporate in your infused water.
Yeah. And make it cool. That wouldn't take away anything from it, would it?
For which one? Go again.
The water, the flavored water with your ginger and your whatever. Making it cool, putting it in the refrigerator before you have it.
That's fine. That is totally fine. It enhances the flavor as well.
Okay.
So that's good. Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, so that's ginger. Cayenne or pepper. So you can use cayenne. It has in capsaicin. Capsaicin is also thermogenic, meaning it increases your body temperature, allow you to burn more fat. So how you can incorporate the ginger and the cayenne, you can make it into a nice remedy. So let's say you have ginger powder, you have some cayenne powder. Let's add some basil. We'll talk about basil in a few. It's also very good for weight loss. If you have these in a powdered form, you crush them, mix it up together, and then you can just take out a teaspoon of that, put in your teas or your smoothies, and you can have that as your go-to after the gym or after a meal. And what it does, it helps to increase the amount of fat you would burn. So if you're doing walking or running or you're going to the gym to do some aerobics, having that remedy or that blend, it will help to burn more fat. So if you were going to burn 5 based on the activity, you can burn 10 or 15 based on the level of activity. That's how much it stimulates the digestive system and help with metabolism.
So ginger, cayenne,
Yes.
Which
so
other?
1 part ginger, cayenne, and 1 part of your basil, holy basil or tulsi. You'll see in some of the packaged herbs. So you can just have them powdered form or in your tea bag portions, and then you boil it or you just draw it to make a tea. All right. So that's one remedy we can use. For, let's say you want to have something like a smoothie or a milk base, you can make your golden milk. I don't know if you remember, we spoke about golden milk before. But do you remember golden milk, how it's made?
No.
No. All right, well, hopefully the callers remember and they let us know. So golden milk is when you add your turmeric to the milk. And you can have that at bedtime, before bed, or after your workout, or before having a meal. Because what it also does, it helps you to feel full. So it helps with satiety. So you feel full, you eat less, and then it also helps with metabolism, stimulating the gastrointestinal, helping with the gut microbiome. How to make your golden milk? Spice it. You can choose a milk you want, your almond milk, your soy milk, cow's milk, coconut milk. Choose the milk you want. Add some turmeric, so 1 teaspoon of turmeric, or you can get the natural rhizome turmeric. Crush it, boil it, and allow it to become yellow. Then you spice it up. Cinnamon is a good spice to add. Cinnamon has in cinnamaldehyde, and cinnamaldehyde is another compound that helps to stimulate the blood sugar levels. And that's why you always hear add cinnamon if you're a diabetic to your meals, to your drink, and as a part of your supplements or your routine, based on that benefit it has. So that's how you can make a golden milk. Cinnamon, turmeric, your milk. You can add some nutmeg as well, and you can make it into a smoothie, or you can just have that warm milk.
Doc, Marcus Parkinson on YouTube is asking you if he can add lemon in the water with the ginger.
Yes, definitely. You can add different flavorings if you want lemon or orange slices. That also works. And yeah, lemon itself is also very stimulating for the digestive tract. So it helps with weight loss. It helps with maintaining the central area, the abdomen area, waist fat, and reducing the waistline as well. So these are good things to add, especially if you're starting an exercise routine.
Full Disclose is asking how much vinegar should go into Jamaica pepper pickle. I'm not sure.
How much vinegar should go into the
Jamaica pepper pickle? Is that a
seems
weight
off
loss?
topic? Is that?
Well, it depends. Jamaican pepper pickle. It depends on how you're making it, because you normally have 1 to 3 to make. When you're making pickle, you have different recipes, but you normally ensure that your peppers are covered when you're making it. Now, if you want to make it a little more into weight loss, you can use your apple cider vinegar, and then you just have shot amounts in water every day as well.
All right, so you talked about breathing. Can we go to breathing now?
All right, so breathing. A lot of times people are so stressed. We go through a period of anxiety and depression, and then sleeplessness, etc. Breathing, just allowing yourself to consciously breathe, can also help in just reducing that anxiety and promoting more of your endorphins to be released, and just that relaxation moment. So we naturally breathe, but when I say consciously, like you say, okay, I'm going to take deep breaths, and you inhale and you hold it, PE class, back in the day, you hold it and then you release, and you do it for a number of times. It brings mental clarity and it relaxes the body. And our body needs that oxygen to go to every single cell. So if you're stressed, your cells are stressed. And the more you give it the oxygen, it can carry out the biochemistry, the biochemical reactions to just help to say, okay, let's calm down, remove the flight or fight hormone, and let's just try to relax. So breathing helps to bring mental clarity, and then you can say, you know what? Let me not fight, or let me not answer this person today, or let me just tackle this this question or this problem another time. So that's how breathing is important. It fuels our bodies, our cells.
Well, let's take our first break and then come back with more from Dr. Denise Daly.
So me go a up road and go link fever. What good for your nerves, so what's up and sapata. Coconut water fi wash off your heart. Hey, nobody could have said Rasta soft. Me go link fever fast and never fever grass. Hey, spirulina we blending, so you know I'll be spending every day.
Public opinion.
Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican.
Different people.
It's not a matter of a JLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Dr. Denise Daly is a former program director for the College of Health Sciences at the University of Technology. She does seminars on corporate wellness and team building strategies and health and wellness in the workplace. She also offers lifestyle and wellness coaching and offers personalized wellness packages. Dr. Daly is also the co-owner and founder of Nasare R&M Company Limited. All natural skincare products are available for customers. They also do private labeling and customized skincare packages. She can be contacted by email at drdenisedaily@gmail.com for bookings and consultations. She can also be found on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Denise Daly.
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have grace, hey. Lord have mercy, hey.
20 minutes after 7 o'clock, we are inside Nature's Remedies with a pharmacognosist, Dr. Denise Daly. Tonight, we're focusing on the use of natural herbs, right, for routine building, for weight loss. And, you know, it's the start of the year. We resolve to eat better, do more physicals, and get more healthy. Dr. Daly walking us through how we can use the herbs and natural herbs we are blessed with in Jamaica. We looked at ginger, cinnamon, and cayenne pepper. Yes, you know about those. I'm sure you do. Yeah. And you're going to talk to us now about sleeping. Yeah, getting adequate sleep, and that varies depending on how young you are.
Depending on how young you are. Well,
yes. For a young man like myself, I don't need a lot. Yeah. Ricardo.
He's up at 3, 4 o'clock and sending all kind of news work for the doc. Him that. Tell him to stay in bed.
As long as you're getting 6 hours, right?
But
6, not 8?
Minimum.
Oh. Really, Doc?
Your body can function.
Oh.
Ideally 8.
I don't think I need 6 anymore.
Yes, you do. You need for sleep at night time.
I do sleep.
Yes.
But I feel bored after
what do you mean bored?
After 4 hours of sleep.
How do you know that you're bored? You're supposed to be... Oh, you get bored in your sleep. Thank you.
No, I feel like I'm wasting time.
Bugs has asked you a valid question.
What
How
is
do you
that?
get bored in your sleep? You're sleeping.
Because after 4 hours, you start to wake. You wake. And you check What do I need to do?
Sleep some more.
No.
You need to.
You don't need to sleep anymore.
Try to go back to sleep.
You tell him, Doc. Books him need to try changing mattress.
But no, seriously, go to bed by 10, by 2, 3. Yeah, I don't need any more.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
I am not on that train, Doc. I need all the whole 8 hours me need.
Well, all right. So sleep is important. I know you're not alone, Cliff. A lot of persons 4 or 5 hours and they're ready for the day. But you want to not jump into the day too quickly. So even if you just have that 4 hours, you want to just ease into your day. Just relaxing the brain, not going on a device as yet. That's another thing. Remove that blue light. So no blue light, no TV, no device. You can read, you can start thinking about your day. Okay, these are the items I need to do. You can have a devotion or listen to something that's soothing.
Yeah.
Not too upbeat to get your cells start pumping, but soothing, relaxing. And it allows the brain waves to start be stimulating. And every thought that you think at that time, it becomes embedded. You know, your body's now looking forward for it throughout the day. There's a saying, everything is created twice, first in your mind and then in reality. So use that time frame to start thinking about, okay, this is what I want to accomplish today. This is what I want to do. And if you can write it. Have that journal of, or you're planning your diary and your day. So that's how you want to use the first set of hours in your day. Meditating, relaxing, and then you want to get active. Do some type of activity. Do some exercise, do some stretches. Just do some push-up, leg ups, any small exercise. You feel your heartbeat change. And once it's changed, that means the blood is now pumping around the body at a faster pace and allowing the oxygen or just, the cells to be rejuvenated, to be awakened. So that's important. So relax. If you don't get the 6 hours, the 8 hours, still try not to get too active as you just wake up.
Fair enough. I'll take that advice.
And how does the getting adequate sleep assist weight loss?
All right, so adequate sleep, 8 hours, very good for an adult. You don't need 10. If you're doing 10, you're doing too much. Right? And that, again, will bring on lethargy. So if you have your adequate 8 hours sleep, your body has the time frame it needs to rejuvenate. So all the toxins from the day before, your body now gets the time to eliminate it from the body. So detoxification takes place. It repairs the broken cells or anything that's happening in the body. And you can then take on the day better. Your stomach lining, your gut microbiome also get the time to rejuvenate. So the bad bacteria, the good bacteria, what's the ratio in your gut? That also changes or it modifies throughout the day when you get time to rest. If you have good food in your system, your body then utilizes it to grow the beneficial bacteria. So even your gut is now feeling better when you wake up, especially if you have a herbal tea before bed or drink some water or herbal tea the first thing when you wake up. So sleeps help with your metabolism. It helps you to break down food better, helps you to get a better gut health, and it also helps you to remove toxins from your body. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not allowing your body to clean itself, to cleanse and detox properly.
Yvette Grant on YouTube says, I'm 69 years old. By 1 or 2 off the bed, and by 4 or 5, I'm up.
4 or 5. So what's the total number of sleep?
That looks like about 2-3 hours.
Yes. Some persons, again, will just have small windows. If you get good quality sleep during that time frame, that's another benefit.
Yeah.
Right? So the quality of sleep. Some persons will dream when they're in a deep, good sleep. Some persons will not, or you don't remember your dream. but quality sleep is important. So if it's 3 hours, still try to enhance the amount of time you get quality sleep.
Yeah.
And as I said, if you wake up and you just can't lie down and relax, try to not be too strenuous in terms of your thoughts and your activities and your blue light. It's hard with the phone and tablets and TVs, but we can try.
I see Joe Money reminding us it's called REM sleep, I think. So, the lines to call, 630-937-124, 618-8255. Ludlow. Good evening, Ludlow.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening.
And so the pharmacognosist, am I right there?
Yes, pharmacognosist. Yes.
Yes. Good
We're
evening.
hearing a lot about the microbiome. It's microbiome or the gut biome. You know, we probably need to have an educational session on that one, because some people, I'm sure, they're not so sure what you're talking about. All right? And the mitochondria and the mitochondrial function. But anyway, what I was calling about is that kelp is also a good herb. It's a seaweed. It's kelp, bladderwrack, and wakame. Those things are good also for weight loss. Am I correct?
What's the name of the, what are those names?
I'm not hearing.
Kelp.
Kelp.
K-E-L-P.
Kelp.
K-E-L-P, wakame, bladderwrack. These are seaweeds, but they also help in terms of, they produce iodine, I think, and also that helps to stimulate your, what you call it, thyroid. I don't know if the doc can expound on that.
Doc?
Are you hearing me, Doc?
Yes, she's hearing you. Hello, Doc.
I'm hearing parts.
Oh.
I heard stimulating the thyroid.
Kelp.
I didn't hear the compound or the food.
It's kelp, K-E-L-P. It's a seaweed. Kelp.
Oh.
There's one called bladderwrack and also wakame. These are all seaweeds that they use. They also, you know, it's from the ocean, sorry. Just like Irish moss. Right. These also help in weight loss. Are you familiar with those products?
Yes, seaweeds are good. You have different products that they use seaweed to make, or you can just have it like that. It also helps with the gut microbiome because of the glycans, the mucilage, and the minerals and so on that it provides, and also soluble fiber. So the seaweed also enhances your gut microbiome. And as you were mentioning before, the gut microbiome, what exactly is that? The gut, your stomach, your intestines, not your stomach so much, but more your intestines, your small intestine, your large intestine. That's where we naturally have bacteria. We have different microorganisms that live with us. If we were supposed to count the number of cells, it's way more than our cells itself, the amount that's in our gut. When we go in details with gut health, we'll definitely look more into it. And the more you produce food that your good bacteria needs, then the better your gut health and the better you feel. We spoke about the gut-brain axis. So your small intestine, large intestine is connected to our brains. And that's why you often say you feel it, I feel it in my belly button, because of that emotional connection when you're crying or when you're happy or when you're excited. So seaweed also provides a lot of phytochemicals and soluble fiber that helps with gut health and also helps with stimulating metabolism. I didn't hear the types, but I know there are various types and food products out there.
Hold it there first. Let's just take a quick time signal and come back.
Enjoy the best coverage for the things you own and those you care about. Protect what matters most with Life, Health, and General Insurance. The time by Sagicor Life and Advantage General is
29 minutes to 8. Back with your Nature's Remedies, we have with us Dr. Denise Daly, as always, the resident pharmacognosist. And Ludlow is on the line suggesting seaweeds, different types of seaweeds, may be effective herbs in weight loss. That's it, Ludlow?
Right, and we're talking about kelp, K-E-L-P, grounded, these are grounded products. Kelp, wakame, and bladderwrack.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
These are also important. But there's one thing I want to leave before I go. Is it important to have a alkaline diet versus an acidic-based diet? and how important that is to gut health. Those are important things that we should know. Because some nutritionists profess alkaline diet, okay, and they cause so-called electric foods that electrifies the cells. So these are all important points we can come up with another time. I'll go now. Yeah. I take my leave now.
All right, Ludlow.
All right. Thank you so much.
The numbers to call 630-937-124, 618-8255. We're discussing herbs and routines that can assist you with those New Year's resolutions. We know you made them. You ain't go to the gym. You're going to lose weight. You're going to be more active. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to sleep longer. Right, Cliff?
And quality sleep.
Right. Full disclosure is asking Doc, slapping is the best sleeping medicine.
What?
What is that? What's
Slapping?
Slapping?
No,
Wait.
not sure. Slapping. I don't know.
I suspect you know what? Never mind,
Is
Doc.
it type-
Never mind, Doc.
Okay.
Full disclosure.
You set me up there, full disclosure, and I didn't
She
catch that.
you.
Yeah, I didn't
She
catch
catch
that.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. I catch you.
630-937-124, 618-8255. I mean, it's true. It is a very good sleep medicine.
Yeah, it puts you to sleep.
Yeah,
So.
like a light
Well,
snore.
It depends on your physical prowess and how fit you are.
You don't want to know. You put it to sleep. And if you don't put it to sleep, sometimes it never good.
You tend to go off.
Herman is asking you, Doc, what herbs are good for sleep?
All right, so sleep, we can have valerian root. You can have your passion flower teas before bed. You can also have mimosa. Don't know if you remember mimosa. It's
Yes.
Dead and Wake
Yes.
or Shema Lady, Shema Maka.
Mm-hmm.
Have some mimosa tea. And we did mention before that also helps to calm the mind and the emotions by just being in the house. Having a potted plant inside can also help with calming the emotions as well. So those are some really good teas you can have. Peppermint. It helps with sleep and it also helps with weight loss. We kind of underestimate the power of our peppermint plants.
I
because it's
love the smell.
I know. It
Love
is
the smell.
majestic. Yes, so peppermint, even just inhaling, whether it's a diffuser or you just boil the water and drop a little in it, so it infuses the house or the kitchen with the menthol. That's the active ingredient in it. When you have it before a meal, just drink some peppermint tea before a meal. It really stimulates bile release and helps to break down fat and metabolize fat, and therefore it helps overall with controlling weight loss as well. Right? So these are some of the simple things we can do to help our bodies work better and prevent the storage of fat cells or excess storage of fat cells.
We're taking your calls for Dr. Denise Daly. We're talking about natural herbs and weight loss. The numbers to call us, 876-630-937124. That's 876-630-937124 or 618-8255.
We always discuss side effects, Doc. Any possible side effects from using herbs to stimulate weight loss?
No, and these are all of the common herbs that we can have as food. Again, temperance is important, but you can eat curry every day.
Me that.
Unless it run your belly.
Yeah.
So you can have your turmeric teas in small amounts. You can have your ginger tea, but then of course, if you have too much, it burns. So you can modify based on how you feel. So peppermint, ginger, your turmeric, your what's the other one we mentioned? Basil. I didn't mention dandelion yet, but dandelion, you can have it once a week. It also helps with weight loss because it helps with liver detox. So having some dandelion tea, or if you want to have supplements, again, it helps with weight loss through liver detox. And again, your liver filters everything you eat and everything that comes into the body. So if it's working efficiently, your body is working much better as well.
How often do we need to detox, Doc?
If you're eating less junk food, and junk food meaning high saturated fats, high sugars, a lot of ultra processed, then you need to at least drink a herbal tea once a week to help the body stimulate the liver cells and the kidney cells to detox at a faster rate. But not if you're having your fiber-rich foods, your natural foods, meaning foods that grow, not just are packaged, then you can have your teas on your regular teas, and then you can have a detox tea every 2 weeks, and so on. At least a month, similar to having your bitter herbs.
Yes.
Okay.
630-9371-4, 618-8255. Balance. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Good night. Give thanks that we survived to make it alive in 2025.
Amen. Thank you. Indeed.
Doc, about 2 or 3 questions. One of them is what's the difference between having your tea cold versus hot?
Okay. All right. So cold as in iced tea, or
no,
cold as in...
just not just as it come off of the fire, but cold.
So room temperature.
All
right. Yeah.
All right. So room temperature tea is fine. Room temperature tea is fine. What it does, it helps the body. You still get the medicinal compounds from the herbs. You still get the benefits from the herb, but also that thermogenic effects. The heat, they always say have it as hot as possible, but it pulls, the heat absorbs into the body. So you don't really get that significant benefits if you have it too hot, because again, your mouth will naturally not swallow it if it's too hot and will destroy the cells. So you realize you always take sips and your tongue takes the burn for you.
When you're supping it, when it's too hot, you're also supping in a lot of air.
Yes, and if you have...
Go on.
Go again.
Go ahead, Balance. Go ahead.
Everything that is white is classified as milk?
If what? Go again.
Go ahead, Balance.
Is everything that is white is classified as milk?
No.
So
milk is normally milk is normally one. If it's animal milk, it's normally produced with high proteins for sustenance of infant. If we are getting plant-based milk, it's normally high in starches and mucilage or glycogans and so on, different compounds that are starch-based and protein-based, and also minerals and vitamins. Some of the plant-based milk, they also fortify by putting some vitamins that should be in milk back into them. So it's not everything that's white, because you have different compounds that are also white that you wouldn't classify as milk. So it depends on what they put into the product to enhance it, why they'll call it milk.
Would I be correct to say milk only comes from breast?
No.
By the way, I think almonds give us juice rather than milk. But that's a little technical and thing. But, I think this is a very good program. And merengue, you know about that plant?
Yes, we have spoken about it here.
That is one of nature's best fat burner. I have lost 20 pounds by just using merengue in all form. I powder it, sprinkle it on the food. I steam it like I would steam the callaloo. And I've lost my big belly that I didn't have, and feeling so proud now. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Give thanks, and you're doing a good work.
Yes.
And bless up the nationwide that it continue to educate the nation.
All right, Balance.
Thank you. Yes, moringa is definitely a part of the top herbs for metabolism, your gut health, and weight loss, and name it. It's one of those peppermint type herbs that you can have every day.
Doc, an elderly caller is asking what herb can be used to help him stay asleep. He says he can only sleep for about an hour or two.
Okay. It goes back to the same insomnia type herbs, the valerian, the moringa, your passion flower, or you can also use passion leaf, lavender, if you can get lavender. You can make it into a tea. try to infuse some of the oils, as I mentioned, like in the air, right? So whether you use a diffuser or you boil the water and add the herbs in or essential oils in, that helps to clean the air as well. The activities you do before bed is important. You want to reduce, as we mentioned, the lights. Try to write down any thoughts that's constantly on your mind. And then exercise. If you can exercise, take a shower, drink a herbal tea, relax, and then sleep, it tends to increase the quality of sleep as well. So building that type of a routine. You exercise, you have a shower, have a herbal tea, relax, then sleep. Those routine things help to put the body in a state of, I'm getting calm, I'm going to rest, and so on. So having those herbs will help. And that routine.
Okay. David. Sorry, David is on the line. Good evening, David.
Good evening, Clifford Ricardo and the doctor.
Good evening.
How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
First of all, I must say, big up nationwide. I can't live without it. I have to be on it all the time. But when I send you an email, I don't know, it says send at Dr. Denise Daily at gmail.com, but I don't know if you get it because you didn't respond.
Doc? You heard him, Doc?
No, you'd have to repeat the question for me, please.
No, I say your email is drdenisedaily at gmail.com, right?
Okay. I didn't hear that one.
He's asking, is your email address drdenisedaily at gmail.com?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's right, David. Sorry, that's right.
Yeah,
David.
but whenever time I send you an email, you didn't respond, so I don't know if you get it.
Oh, he's saying he has not gotten a response, Doc.
No, I didn't hear, so you'd have to repeat the question for me.
No, he's saying he sent you an email to your email address, but he hasn't gotten a response.
Really? DRDE? I have no unread emails at this time. Christmas was good.
Yeah, Dr. Denise Daily at gmail.com.
Dr. Denise Daily at gmail.com. Yes.
Gmail.com. So DRDE NISE DALEY at gmail.com.
And it's not it's not in the spam?
No, I checked there too, just to make sure.
Because it's like 6 months ago, I sent it there a couple of times.
Oh, she
I
hasn't
sent
seen
it
that.
something on Instagram too.
Yes,
Well,
Instagram is all clear as well.
You want to ask her the question now? Can you ask her the question now?
It's like two questions. I don't want to hold you guys up for too long, but I would really like to. Can I talk to her after here? Like give her the email just in case I'm doing something wrong.
You can ask the question.
I'll give it to your producer. And your
all right,
producer
yes,
give
do
it to
that.
her.
Do that,
Yeah.
yes. Give it to Dana.
Yeah, I would really appreciate it.
All right, hold
Yeah.
for Dana.
Yeah.
All right. Michael, good
Thank
evening.
you.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Happy New Year.
And to you.
Yeah, man, in the class, I listen to the herbal doctor, you know.
Uh-huh.
Because he's a man, a strictly herb me deal with, you know. Strictly
Yeah.
bush, man. So, me like how I establish the herb business, man, the bush business, man, and I give thanks to listen to you and the doctor, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even yourself now, you have to get your doctorate, you know, because you're the right, you know, the herb doctorate now, Dr. you.
All right.
All right, Michael.
Yeah, I wish you a happy new year and thing, you know, and Rascal was called before to them Christmas, and say happy Ethiopian Christmas, because, you know, me and him are Ethiopian, and you know it go.
Mm-hmm.
So only just have a happy New Year, Raskava, happy Christmas and thing the 7th of January, Ethiopian Christmas, and to all the Ethiopians them. Happy Christmas and all the Rasta them, including you and the doctor, and thank you for having me, please, sir.
All right. Blessings, Michael.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks much, Michael.
Richie, good evening.
Good evening, brethren.
What a go on?
My day, no man, safe.
Yes.
Happy belated birthday, brethren.
Thank you, Richie.
Me tell you something, you know. You see when them call you say, you're old man, tell them, say, catch me if you can, hear?
Cat what?
Catch you
Catch me if you can.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know what a young one and all the pussy for your age. Yes. Yes, Doc, good evening. Doc,
you hearing Richie?
No, I was hoping you repeat it.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Richie.
Yes. Good evening, Doc. I keep listening to you again. But that person have a sleeping disorder. They can't sleep more than an hour. If you know the made in a weed, get it. Dry it and use it. As a matter of fact, it is a natural Viagra. It will make you sleep as much as you want to sleep. Or if you can get the chain root, the man-strong root, and the nervous. Those 4 things I recommend you. As long as you use those, you sleep as much as you want to sleep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, Doc. Bye-bye.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, all right, thanks.
Joyce.
I heard blood waste and cheney root and some of those herbs. Yeah.
Joyce, good evening.
Hey, good evening. I'm a regular listener to your program, you know, from year back when. So I'm a high blood pressure patient, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I take 3 blood pressure tablets. I take the losartan, the water tablet, and the amlodipine. But I realized that the amlodipine, I can't use any herb with it. So I want to ask the doctor if I can use the turmeric with the amlodipine. Like in tea, like I could boil it and make it a tea.
Mm-hmm. Yes. For the turmeric, you can boil it and drink it as a tea.
With the amlodipine?
And you can make the golden milk. So either one is fine. Just add a little bit of the black pepper to get the piperidine.
So she's asking if she can have it with the blood pressure medication, Doc.
Amlodipine.
With? No.
No, Doc is saying no.
You can have it at a separate time.
Separate time.
At least 2 to 3 hours apart. So if you have your breakfast in the morning, you can have your medication or vice versa, but not at the same time. Still, turmeric has been found to be not toxic or not, interacting with a lot of the medication. Nonetheless,
I'm realizing
people
that,
are different. Keep them apart.
I noticed that. I can't take anything with the amlodipine.
Yes. So 2 to 3 hours apart. You can have your turmeric tea. Later on, your medication.
2 to 3 hours apart, all right?
Oh, that means I can take it in the night then, before I'm going to bed.
2 to 3 hours apart.
Okay, then. So I'll do this in the night.
All right.
Okay.
Hi, Cliff. How are you?
I'm fine. And you?
I'm good. I listen to your program every day.
Very well. Very good habit to have.
Okay, then. Take care.
Good.
630-937-124 618-8255. Let's see the YouTubers if they have any questions for you. Edgar Gordon, Doc, says too much bush is not good for the liver. How do you respond to that one?
Too much of anything is not good for the liver because the liver will have to do the work of detoxing, breaking down, compartmentalizing, and storing. Now, if you're having herbal teas, you're having small quantities of herbs on a daily basis. If you're having your herbs as a part of seasoning your food, again, they're in minute quantities. If you're having concentrated amounts and drinking a glass or a cup of it, you're overindulging. So that's overconsumption. That's giving the liver too much work to do. And therefore, like any machine, overworked, it will crash. So we always talk about the general dose when you're having your herbal teas, 1 tea bag or 1 teaspoon to 1 cup of water. and you can have that 1, 2, up to 3 times a day, depending on the type of herbs. And in small amounts, your liver is able to utilize the phytochemicals that are beneficial and store and carry out metabolism. But if you overindulge, having concentrated amount of your herbs constantly, and especially high, strong herbs, that's when you're overworking the liver and you can cause liver toxicity. And that's why it's important, medication and herbs never at the same time, and having small doses of your herbal teas throughout the day or throughout the week.
Herman is asking, Doc, finally, what's good for circulation?
Circulation, we mentioned busy some weeks ago. That's very good for circulation. Your bird pepper. So it's a type of cayenne bird pepper, very strong, also thermogenic, meaning increase the body blood temperature, helps to stimulate blood flow. Regular herbs such as your aloe vera, leaf of life, and moringa helps with improving blood circulation. Increasing your food intake that has iron and simple trace minerals like your copper or your manganese and zinc also helps with blood circulation. So increase the amount of your peanuts, your walnuts, your cashew. These also help. And if you have the ability to make a roots drink, a Jamaican roots drink or Caribbean roots drink with your cheney root, your sarsaparilla, your cashew bark, soursop bark, stuff like that, then that also helps to rejuvenate the blood and help with circulation.
All right. So, Doc, I understand that you're having a series of workshops coming up.
Yes, we are. And we're looking forward to helping persons who are looking to, one, go through a weight loss wellness journey. So we'll be starting in February for the weight loss workshop. It will be weekly sessions that we'll have. And throughout the week, you'll have different items that you can do as a part of your checklist. We'll have herbal recipes, food items that can help you until you come to the next date. So it'll be 4 per workshop package. So we'll have weight loss starting in February. We'll have women's health and navigating menopause starting right after that. And then we're not leaving out the men. Men, we will have a workshop coming up in April, May. I'll send out the dates next week. April, May, looking at how do you improve your cardiovascular health? That's your heart, your blood vessels, and therefore, how do you improve your reproductive health and your stamina? So weekly we'll meet and we'll talk about it, and it's all geared towards building a new routine. If you can carry out these items every day for a month, that's how long it takes for your body to adjust and build a good routine. And the investment is a mere $15,000 for the entire month and all the resources for each package. So I'll listen out, send an email, drdenisedaily@gmail.com, and let me know if you want to be a part of our workshops. And it will be limited space available because we want it to be small and intimate, but enough for you to get the information and have that personalized session. So definitely.
Custis Brown is asking, where is the workshop?
These 3 workshops will be virtual. So if anywhere in the world, you can express your interest and we will send you the Zoom link as soon as you're registered. So virtual, available, and it will be 4 times per workshop package.
All right. And I imagine they can go onto your Instagram and see more information, yes?
Yes. And you can email drdenisedaily@gmail.com for more details as well.
All right. Doc, thank you so much.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you too. Happy New Year again and all the best with the wellness journey.
All right, Doc. See you next week.
See you next week. Take care.
Take care.
Dr. Denise Daly there, our resident pharmacognosist with Nature's
What's your
Remedies.
resolution about your health for 2025?
May I get my steps in so that when I compare with yours, I'm beating you. Because what are you doing now? 11,000?
I do average 10, 11,000 a week.
Gonna beat you.
10 miles a week.
Gonna beat you.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you try to do that, you drop dead.
That's all the time we have this evening. Dana Davey, our super producer, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Andrew Glenn Anderson, the man behind the controls, the pilot, thank you so much. My colleagues in the newsroom, led by our editor, Cara Powell, the best in the business. Thank you all so much for making this show possible. Our sponsors, contributors, and you, our valued listeners. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes, reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Good night.
It's Monday.